My energy ecliptic. Love's circle persona. Self love, best love, world love. You knows my honor. Greetings. I be your host, Mr.BasTiEn. In peace, prosperity, power. It's my honor to share my affirmations, visualizations, in unison manifestations, and all satisfactions. The mind, body, and soul is to grow in all facets. Presented in procreation. This is MB90 Podcast Show. May you be at peace in whatever the action is proclaiming. Ascending the greatest of all satisfaction like your goals a bullseye, your actions the dart, believe in you no matter the ending or the start. For your life, must you claim it. Sacred energy exchange. The realm that allows anyone near your soul by the body exchanging fluids. This is the first time this becomes the giving away of soul attachment. The potency of sex is sometimes revealed through the vagina where it's erupted and galvanized in what is called climaxing of cum, right? Vice versa, same for the man, where his cum is defined into semen. We're normally implementing sex, right, into this idea of receiving a climax, right, receiving a pleasure. Sacred energy exchange, right, where we understand sex is the process of bringing in new life for the majority of things, right? We understand there's a spectrum of uncleanliness that sex can have by prevailing yourself to multiple people, and also it's not just the realm of the amount of people, but who you choosing by energy of those, right? Those who see their body as a godly temple in the aspect how they keep it clean and how they nurture it and what they're inputting based on nutrition, the health of maintaining such body, right? So with sacred energy exchange, if you know it to be a very pleasurable state, then the energy, then the perpetuity of your sexual partners won't really be something that you're relinquishing to, something that you're holding on as a powerful threshold to your comprehension of what sex is, right? To be loved. Oh, what a feeling to be loved. Loving is the treatment for all life diseases. Just as in vice versa, can a broken heart be fueled by diseases within self presented by life? I've seen and felt love in so many variations that love become inevitable to give, receive, or at times one may lose. What keeps us strong during our weakest moments? Love. What makes us successful without knowing success? Love. See, as socially through our society, love becomes defined by beauty, regarding to what is felt through the eye of the beholder. For all souls, if not many souls, for many souls, excuse me, if not all souls, we all share the difference of what love is, which some see love can be bought, some see can be sold, lied to, deceived upon, or at worst, this love can even kill, right? So the complexity of what we utilize sacred energy exchange from what we understand it is to captivate into this forever lasting love, right? We're little childish, I would say, amongst what love is and what shall it mean to everyone, to everybody's, right? I think the complex biodiversion that love carry is that it oversees the human definitions given by the eyesight, the social education that we learn, the intuitive understanding of what is or what not to be loved carries the same weight for what we understand to be sex, right? Because love is inevitable, just as what we know to be change, the constant perspective of what love is. But we sort of ridicule the factor of life, knowing that change is a constant growth, because sex and love is married with this idea that you fornicate to be in love, but also we're in a society that plagues love. So procreation of itself through baby making, manifesting peace, right, and tranquility, being able to oblige harmony into how you're able to visualize, right? These characters that still emblemish what is to be sacred energy exchange are denounced because love is only going for the pleasurable state, or is going for the I love you and we should be together state. So that's why I wanted to go through the perspective of love, because what you see with with sex is that it's really hard to separate those two, because so many people butcher sex to receive love, right? You know what I mean? So throughout my life, I've never gone into the idea of what is unconditional love to the fullest. This idea I've learned from people, placing and things, is like to be a feeling, an expression, thought which intervenes my mind, or all minds. And to me, which that intervenes the mind to the fullest, I feel like that adequately consists the body and soul to a complete unity which can extend peace, happiness, joy, inspiration, which cause goodness in life. So without experiencing such, I do know, like I said, peace, happiness, joy, inspiration are all aspects of unconditional love. Excuse me, all aspect of unconditional love that has a measurement of whatever you perceive it to be, whether short or long distance, right? It's like the example: can a good killer exist when love is the fight against hurtful murders? You know what I'm saying? Sacrificing the art of love, the inevitable cause where change is made without knowing at times that change can extend. Unconditional love, you know what I'm saying? The beauty that love can allow you to see imperfection through perfection, you know what I'm saying, is the true idealization of why imperfection is love also, just as perfection, you know what I mean? Perfection is only made by those who've taken the sacrificial purpose to live out intuitively the inner need felt by self, their surrounding in spirit. You know what I'm saying? Those who overcome the fear of failures, being able to garnish and empower their attempts to not love to control, but to love purely in the sense of giving and receiving. And the most potency of love that's eradicated from us is the love of self. So I wanted to go with that because I want you to understand how much potency self-love carry, because without self-love comes self-destruction. So to gather more information on sacred energy exchange is to gather more information upon who we are as souls, right? And a lot of time we're so demoralized amongst how we feel, but our surrounding not feeling the same, So we limit that inner feeling for the exterior experience of what others tell us how we should feel, you know? So in that same point, I take no one to be a prisoner of a moment, right? And what I mean by that is like through your sexual practice, through your sexual comprehension of love, I think you should do yourself a favor by understanding that you're going through experiences, and through these experiences, you're going to have mistakes. And it's all about learn. The best way you can learn from mistakes is comprehending what works for you and what don't, and learning from that should be able to allow you to accentuate yourself to matches what you're looking for in the next moments of doing, right? So for most people, experiences are not actually learning stages because the experiences are either defined by the moments. It's like, oh, this was a good moment, this was a bad moment, and a lot of people don't condone themselves to be the conductor, right? The vessel that led them to such moment. So where the analyzer is gonna go look into the moment and say, damn, what part did I have in that moment? How did I allow such and such in the moment? How do I alter next time in this moment, so on and so forth, right? That's the analyzer. That's the thinker, and for the opposition of that is the person that's I don't want to use the word victim, but to a certain degree, that's a person that victimized themselves in a situation to where they're gonna always be the person that got done wrong or somebody else was wrong, was at fault. The accountability stage is so hard for that person that they don't comprehend that the only way you can learn and actually be able to find what's good for you is having the accountability and ownership, right? On your ship, on your doings and being in any moment. So that way you can learn from it, right? And you'll be able to earn a better viewership that can allow you to give yourself and surrounding better options, right? And so that to me is part of that factor between why sex and love is purely a circumstances to our issue, purely a circumstances issue to our society, because it's a outward education, right? Nobody tells you to receive or be able to get unconditional love in your life, that the first person you must have that set in stone for is that person that you look in the mirror daily, or however much you look in the mirror, right? It's that person that you have to deal with every second of the day. It's that person that sometimes piss you off based on the thoughts that's in the back of your mind, right? It's you. You have to have unconditional love for you first. So with that, if that is not something that is fully wholeheartedly respected for you, which is the love of you, your sexual practice and your understanding of love is going to be very limited and also hindered based upon your view of self. And that's where a lot of times you have such a toxic trait between, again, the relationship love, but also the sexual energy exchange of men and women, right? Or whatever your preference is based on your sexual preference of same partner, right? It's like constantly hoping and wishing somebody else can give you a desire that you can't give for yourself is good point to myself with this pause. It's like the man that's addicted to porn, right? The man or woman, whoever that's addicted to porn. Um, your sexual partners are literally playing a role based on your sexual porn fantasies that you've been destructive in your mind about, right? The scenes, the action of certain things that you like based off porn, or you're watching, your addiction to it comes into play based on every actionable experience that you have. You know, that itself right there is gonna make it such a tough grasp to have in your love life, but also obviously your sex life, right? And I'm glad I did start it off this way in regards speaking on the exterior love that we learn, right? And the reason why I wanted to, I thought of like, wait a minute, why is my audience will be confused, meaning that I'm here to speak about sex, but I open it up with love, and to a certain aspect, I wanted to wholeheartedly open myself to understand that most people in our society really don't understand such difference, right? Because some men have sex for marriage, right? For love, vice versa. Some women utilize their vagina like in the sacredcy, I want togetherness, I want forever, right? So here we have sex being something potent for certain people, right? That feel very sacred, like I feel like I should say this for this person, that or that. And then we have another opposition of it where it's the pleasure state, right? It's where I'm intrigued for new experience, right? It's like knocking down dominoes. You knock one down, you're looking forward to knocking down the other. So there's two different spectrum that sex is utilized off, and I think that itself right there is where we need a better comprehension of such, right? So what I mean by that, in your early teenage years, or of starting producing this sexual your sexual reproductive start to produce in your early teenage years, whether you're a young girl, or young boy, young boy or young girl, right? Whether you're in your early teens and your sexual reproductive system start emerging, right, into either the desires, or into either the thoughts, or right, things of the curiosity of those things, right? The plague that I think kills society is that we educate these young kids in two separable ways that's not really truthful and honest about what sex is into that totality, right? So the birds and the bees story that most people gonna get or will receive in their lifetime is that, hey, yeah, sex is when a man and a woman get together and they procreate, they make babies, right? And then we have the scarcity of like, oh yeah, sex is also for the right person. Make sure you don't give it up to no one. Make sure you wait for this and that. Wait for your marriage. There's so many different spectrum of that, right? That's what I mean by that. And within that, especially for young girls, I think their adolescent sexual reproduction years, where their body being formed, it's a very tainted art of manipulation that we do to young girls in our society, meaning that like love, 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 love. Like they don't get the real true perspective of their body developing at the highest form, right? Because now you have babies already thinking about babies, right? And then for the young boy, he's like, I'm only a man if I get pussy. I'm only a man if I look like I got girls after me, right? So on and so forth. So The problem that I have in our society is that where our teenage years of our sexual reproduction being produced, right? I think it's those that are very important years that we should be educated more upon what's going on inside our body, right? The changes that we're getting through puberty, amongst like the significance of withholding ourselves, right? Like as much as we not omitting it, it's really because we learn about sex so early that like anything that we know about cats is that curiosity is what normally killed them. And the curiosity of sex for a young boy, a young girl who is having these feelings and emotions but don't have a real true concept of what they're doing actually in the moment, or actually what that moment can present, whether through procreation of another life, whether it's through the sexual transmitted diseases, right? Whether it's through the soul bondage that occurs to these factors, right? So I think it has a lot to do to where our society is very obliged to the knowledge of sex, right? Because it's for most people it's a full word that means like, oh, people having intercourse, right? So another way for sex really is to say that word intercourse, right? But a lot of people don't understand sex is literally an acronym. And I think the potency of understanding the full knowledge of it lets you understand what you're doing. Sacred energy exchange, right? So I think if a lot of people were raised to understand, hey, the energy that you're propelling or giving this person is very sacred, we will understand that it would have a more meaningful aspect to us. And I would say if your body going through sexual reproductive, you know, in your early teen years, I think that curiosity would be more limited if you was openly upright, given the transparency of what sex is. If you was openly upright to these adolescent or these young teenagers at the time of like the risk and the precaution that comes with it, right? The safety guidelines that go with these, right? If we were very more honest, I think a lot more sex would be limited, but overly as well. We're a very sexualized society that's not making it any better, because even as the adult, we don't take the accountability of like, yeah, you could be in your sexual prime years right now, but also your sexual action is being watched by that young 12, 13, 14-year-old that don't know too much about it. So the girl, the woman that's in her 30, that's very provocative, right? Like, okay, so just to be trendy, right? Kanye girl, Bianca, whatever her name is, whatever she just did at the Grammys, think about that. So when you have a 12, 13-year-old girl looking at that, like, damn, that's what being sexy is, right? That's what sex symbol look like. Oh, that's what being attractive, right? You have so many little young minds being plagued of that, right? And then vice versa. We have the young guys to feel like, I got to get this girl, I fuck her Tuesday, fuck another girl Wednesday, Thursday, to feel like the man, right? Because as men, we make it seem like it's all about having this roster or this team. So it's very hard to give anybody some comprehension of what they're doing, right? Or give them some intuitive understanding of what sex should actually be in the means for. So in that same way, I was speaking on how like you have some mature or just in the sexual prime years where you have women that's very seductive in that state. It's still the same, like I was saying, for guys where we might be in our sexual prime years. All we doing is teaching the younger dudes is having power amongst like money. You know what I'm saying? Having power amongst the materialistic things that you can do, and the girl's gonna fall in line for you. And with that short breath, it's like in short breath, I meant to say, it then carries a game for the young girl to do and also a game for the young boy to do. So what we have in our society is that sex is now a transactional factor between the young boys and young girls, or overall all of us, right? Through the idealization of what pornography has made sex to be, or normal prostitution aspect to, like, hey, you know what it is. I ain't got no shame to say you got to pay for it, or vice versa. The guy ain't got no shame to say I'm a simp for it. And a lot of that goes to not having sexual discipline. You know what I'm saying? Having enough sexual potency and care to your body to say, okay, I'm not doing this. Like, there's with anything in life, there's going to be pros and cons. And with pros and cons come morals and principles, right? The things that you're willing or not willing to do of such or because of such. And with sex, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, especially for men. It takes a lot to not give in, because we're known to be conquerors, right? We're known to just comply to comply into what like us and just go with that, right? So a lot of men are not into the systematic of being able to be a power tool as a woman, meaning that, like, same way a woman choose what dick she's allowed to go inside her, as vice versa, a man, you should have the same power strength. So for me, how this power strength came about for my golden phallus came about me learning and comprehending semen retention. Semen retention has totally saved my life in so many facets. Not just from the idealization of sleeping with girls and stuff like that, but also from the proclamation that I can have of being able to have a strong withstanding of not having the desire to watch porn, right? Or being able to articulate to myself and understand how potent my godly babies is, and a napkin or toilet papers is not where my godly baby should be formed in. And with this conversation, I wanted to not write to you, because obviously I'm the one that's fucking speaking to you. So I want to dedicate a moment, if you don't mind, to a poem that I have. And this one is titled Semen Retention. Such a powerful tool for a man to comprehend his vices and values. I lay here equated with energy to produce multi-life forces. No advertisement. Be cautious in your endorsements. Can I fuck some pussy? Yes, but not of my desire. Semen retention gravitates me towards meaningful sacred energy exchange that unites my twin to die fire. Porn is lame to a God who creates his own actions. My semen and napkins, toilet, trash can is disrespectful manner that my teenage self had no comprehension of, besides the release of my nut being satisfaction. Love to know how I could gain rather than I lose. Powering my semen in art, physical exertion, my excursion, critical thinking, meditation, be thy tool. Fun fact, fellas, next time having sex with your partner, do your best to be by enjoying her and you receiving you by her receiving her best. Do not, I repeat, do not focus on you releasing, as this becomes your ultimate stress. If you can project your energy to propel her climax and keeping your life force intact, this allows you to reach a higher plane in sacred energy exchange. The plane of manifestation through sex can can result to ideas, mindsets, vision, are all capable of being produced through such energy exchange, not just babies. The control of your energy allows you to not easily be manipulated by emotions, allows you to maneuver with logical senses, keeping things tactical and the forms of priority in what is purposeful. A man must know his role, not in society, but within his own universe if he studies self and look within. To find his reasoning to live outward is always start within as the begin. You got to look in. Saying not to the wrong energy, I'm sorry, saying no to the wrong energy can save a man's life. Can't fuck them all. Like you ain't ready to be a husband to a bitch that's telling you she ain't a wife. If you making decision that's not feeling right, don't think twice. What's meant for you shall always be, and this will shall always make you feel nice. Semen retention. I'm 35, so it's something I learned mid-20s. I started practicing like 27, 28. It's not as celibacy, right? So celibacy will go to that form of like obviously you're not doing nothing at all between ejaculation, you know what I'm saying, coming or having sex, period, right? Semen retention is a little bit more different. So it has the same clause in regards to celibacy regarding keeping right, retaining your semen, but how potent you are as a man if you are able to exalt and go inside a woman and not come, which is not a lot of us as men, right? Because we're very weak inside that warm, cozy ocean universe, right? So semen retention, yeah, it goes to that form where you're not releasing any semen, right? There's no coming to that factor, and the goal behind it, essentially for me, was being able to attain myself more of a sexual discipline, learning the moments where I was just too overly sexualized based on my thoughts or desires, or being able to comply to myself that this was just a sexual need. And how that worked for me I would say, like, I started off the journey and with semen retention with the form of where how can I express it? It's like I'm the type of how I started off the process. I should say this is that I think it was a situation where I had sex maybe either a couple of days or weeks when I started this situation, right? And with that, it exalts to allow you to practice more or being a logical man, right? It results to you to be able to stay focused, but also what a lot of us don't comprehend as men is that semen is energy itself, right? So the same way we have energy to have sex, procreate, or whatever, like make a woman come, this, that, and third, that same energy can be processed and producing in different parts of your life, right? Whether it's through the physical production of your body, right? Whether it's through the mental stimulation, right? You reading a book, right? Stimulating your mind into a tactical situation, right? Whether it's the spiritual alignment, right? You meditating, you going out and galvanizing your soul into ritual practice, whether it's walking in nature, whether it's gathering yourself into the people, places, and things that can allow you closer to your path. So when we're horny as men, or when we feel the erection of sexual desire, that is energy, and that doesn't mean that energy is only plagued for only sex, right? You can flip that again to the physical exertion. You can flip that into the spiritual exertion, mental. So it's not just something where it goes into you have to use this energy for sex, or like for example, the man penis is literally blood flow. Like our erection is literally blood flow. It's like air. It's like literally like I'm I'm so hot. Whoa. Like look at this pulsation from my penis. Like it's literally energy. That's what I'm saying. Like so erection reminds you that. It's not that, oh, I'm erected for yes. I was going to say something that I was going to take back. So yeah, you get erected for that sexual uh, action that you want and desire. But however, energy is energy, so you can flip and manipulate that energy to something else. So something that I learned with semen retention, um, that even with Jesus, if you believe in Jesus, so on and so forth, right? Or even the great man's Plato, Albert Einstein, they all practice celibacy throughout their life. So a lot of people don't know that. Some of the greatest men, or even the simplistic, I guess, for in today's day and age, where you'll learn that like boxers or certain professionals, they try their best not to have sex before they perform and so on and so forth, just to retain that energy. Because again, sexual energy is not just harnessed uh, for men's semen or woman vagina creaming cum, right? It's harnessed as well to be an action or to be a thought, or to really to be a universe movement by fluorescence. Because even if me and a woman decide to have peaceful, sacred energy exchange, we can manifest better, not just only for our bodies and soul, but also for the universe as well. It's almost like through sacred energy exchange, you can process a prayer, right? That's part of that. But back to the semen retention aspect of it, when I started off, it was a journey. It was a journey because what it showcased to you quickly how much of your practice you were doing, right? So like for me, I wanted to stop ejaculating. I wanted to not be interested in porn, right? I wanted to like be able to say if I ever come, it's gonna be only coming through the process of having sex with a woman, right? So that was my first stage of semen retention. And I would say the first 2 weeks was hell. It was like, bro, you would catch blue balls in that aspect, right? Because your thought that you would normally allow to keep flowing in your head, meaning like the thought that you like, damn, I want to fuck her, this, that, and the third, and then that thought would make you think about some good views of such and such you want to see, and then that thought would process you through some porn site, and then that porn site would ask you or make you think of what you want to see based on category, this, that, and the third, and boom, there you go. You just dropped your semen off to the toilet paper, right? So it made me see how what's the word? I just saw the word impulsive. It just made me see how impulsive I was with sex before I was practicing semen retention, meaning that like, okay, if I'm horny now and there's a woman that I find attractive on that physical aspect, me caring about some of the logical aspect of the emotion attachment that comes with it, right? I wasn't caring because it's just like, okay, I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear to get what I want to get, right? With semen retention, not only do you have those blue balls effect and so on and so forth, but if you're able to go through the flow of realizing, okay, damn, I was either coming or having sex on a regular basis of every week or so on and so forth. So let's say if you was the type of person having sex every 3 or 4 days with semen retention, if you didn't come on that third day, your body would literally start physically releasing that semen, because your semen has been so adequately accepted. It's almost like it's a body schedule for your semen to be released, right? So I learned that about myself. I'm like, God dang, like why the fuck that, like I just feel naturally heavy as fuck, or like my literally my balls would be so heavy that nut will be coming out of it because I was so normal in either having sex, or like if I can't have the access to sex, then that it's okay on a regular basis. So whenever I feel horny to go jack off, right? So because it was such a regular aspect to my life, my body was fighting against something that I put into it to be normal, which is that, hey, every 2-3 days, bro, we coming. What we doing not coming, bro? It's the third, fourth day. I'm sorry, man, I gotta release by myself. Like I'm going to wake up in the morning like, what the fuck? Why I got cum on my thigh? I'm just being honest with you, right? So that was my first process with semen retention. Then it got more stronger to where I was able to like bend semen retention to my own ways, meaning that like I don't need to watch porn no more. I understand what I'm doing when I'm watching porn, meaning that I'm just playing a fantasy role in my head, right? So if I touch my penis with this idea that I'm gonna jack it off, I just literally think back to the idealization of why would I do this as a god? Why should I do this when it comes to me naturally, right? If I'm a magnetic force of energy based on opposite being a opposite attract, then I don't need these extra pornographic or these social standards of what sex means, right? Because semen retention allowed me to harness that power back. So even from now, the graduation of me being able to now not having the urge or the need to come or having the urge to fuck a girl every week, 2 weeks, or a month, I was able to do, like I said, I started off 6-7 years ago. I was able to do some time spans of 3 or 4 months without coming, 3 or 4 months without having sex, right? And then I was able to grow too from that same standpoint to where I could have sex and not have a problem of not lasting a long time, because I'm so engulfed and holding my energy within, right? And understand how potent it is. So I found so much very powerful variation of what semen retention provides you. Like I said, for men, not only is it the focus strand that you get from like not allowing your circle to be knocked off the pivot by anyone or anything, right? Being able to focally get more intuitive. And I think a part of what semen retention is just really having time for yourself. Understanding also you retenting such energy to only give to an energy that's gonna flourish you for more, right? You're not gonna give this energy to anything or anybody, right? So that's really what I wanted to go upon that, and why I think it's such important for any young man to practice that, because I think also that would help any young woman when she understands that a man got dick discipline, she can definitely have pussy discipline. And one thing as well, to just flip the conversation back to the women aspect of it, I think that's the real issue with our society, because being a hoe is so acceptable for men that like it makes women a little jealous of that, right? Being that she gets pregnant today, she's kind of out the whole game if she's intrigued to being such, right? And vice versa, he get her pregnant the next hour or the next day, he's still out there hoeing. The idealization of men having multiple girls and so on so forth makes that woman feel alienated, right? The idea that she's a slut, nobody's want her, she's not a wifey. If she it's like, think about that, right? Two guys, I'm sorry, A guy can be looking at two girls like that's friends and whatnot and be like, damn, bro, I could imagine what a threesome would be like. You know what I'm saying with them. But and it's like it's the normal. Even the girl would be like, oh, that's normal guy conversation, this, that, and third, right? But if we go into a woman head and hear how a woman like looking in the corner and looking at two guys like, damn, I wish both of them could fuck me. She's automatically a slut. You know what I'm saying? She's automatically, damn, boy, that girl, she's all the way out there. So it's like that. Those sort of plague in our society makes it. It makes it unbalanced to a certain aspect. Because I think we're both hating on each other, right? Because the guy would be pissed off that like, oh, this girl, she don't need nothing. Like any guy can just change her life or make her out to be this or that by tomorrow, right? And then vice versa, the girl's like, oh, guys, they just make up any story. They lead me astray. They can do this or do that, and just boom, right? It's like we're constantly looking at the pros and cons of each other. We don't even get to actually enjoy the mutuality of that, right? So with that, sex itself should be something that you have confidence in with yourself before you start with somebody else, right? Before you enter somebody else as a man or you allow a man to enter you as a woman, you must have confidence within your own sexual body, right? And a lot of times you realize some people don't. And their insecurity is that they want the experience, but they want somebody else to make that experience good. But it's like you gotta love yourself and you gotta know that you can be good to yourself to have good sex with somebody else, right? The compatibility of what power is unity, and unity is mutuality. You know? So upon how we view and look at how sex is educated, I can't really blame us as a society because again, it's a outside looking in education rather than an inside looking out education, right? Because we would be able to understand ourselves a lot more if we understand our sexual energies, right? Every woman is not openly sexual, and vice versa as every man, right? And same vice versa, right? You might have a timid man that's sexual, and vice versa. You have a woman that's very expressive that she wants loud, she wants to speak, or you know what I'm saying, different affirmative being done in such action, right? So you have to confine into what that means to you. For someone, it may be virginity and having that first one be the last one forever. And I think for majority of us, we will hope that based on a societal white picket fence family house and family life that we were sold as the biggest dream, but at the same time, reality has to set to that point too. And really, I pause because then that's another realm of the conversation because it goes into sexual maturity, right? So we could see maturity on the aspect of age, but age doesn't really define maturity. You know what I'm saying? Like comprehension is maturity. You know what I'm saying? Like how you're able to grow in different moments is how you're able to learn through such experiences. So everybody is not learning in the same rate. Because you're 60 years old doesn't mean you comprehend sex better than a 25-year-old girl or man, right? It's only because if you're consolidated to others being and doing, then it's really hard for you to get your own comprehension of such. It's hard for you to learn specifically to what you just experienced because it's already decoded or defined through somebody else's view, right? So in reality, I would love to have a more open view with sacred energy exchange. It's something that I'm very knowledgeable about. So I feel like there's so much more I could captivate my mind and also express to you by thoughts to give you more views and based on what I could say to you. But in reality, it's definitely the beginning, and for every beginning there shall be the ending. But if we do have an ending, shall it be the completion? You know what I'm saying? So in totality, I'm just trying to make sure as as I'm looking to wrap up this episode that I hit as much pointers that I was intrigued or was looking forward upon doing. I'm sure once I'm done, there's gonna be some that come off my temple and gravitation. But for this time, I think it's just very important to just review again the conversation about sacred energy exchange. Sex is something that we really can't put a true identity of the right or wrong way of going about it, right? Whether it's like waiting for the right person in regards to marriage, um, having kids only through marriage, not out of wedlock. You know what I'm saying? So where do we stop the blessing, right? Is it because a kid that's born in marriage is more propelled to be a better kid than the kid that was born from pleasure, meaning like the parents had no idea of being together or anything like that. He came, she got pregnant, so that means the kid, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's hard for me to fathom what sex should be for anyone else rather than I know it to be for me. I think in the knowledge aspect, I think it's important for us all to know what sacred energy is, right? And to me, it's in simplistic. That is the connectivity of life forces uniting to propel procreation. So whether you're viewing it from the uterus, the eggs that's in the woman uterus, to the sperms that's in a man penis, to be that beginning stage. There's also a view for some people where sex is the closest that you can get into someone's soul, right? From the viewership of, again, the man penis is an outward body part, and the vagina fold inward. So literally, it's literally like you're in that womb, man, the womb, like you're literally inside her womb, bare soul. Um, and then you have some views that's like, hey, it's it's nature, right? We see animals do it. It's just part of the human experience. So some people may look at it like we're too depth in our thought process of, oh, it's all about love or marriage or making a family together, right? Some see it like, hey, I made a child and that's beautiful. I don't need to be with the mother. I don't need to be with the father. Right? Everything is set different. So through sex, so much conversation can be compiled, right? So whether it's sex on the on a form that where a lot of people see love with sex, right? A lot of people see family with sex, right? A lot of people may see pleasure and fun with sex. A lot of people may see, right, fear, anxiety, destruction with sex. So it's all here like that picture, right? To be as ugly or as beauty based upon our eyes, right? The beholder that looks upon such to whatever it may to be, right? The freak, right? For some reason, we have this idealization that this what is it, Scorpio, right? We kind of, oh, that person's freaky and bad. Right? It's like we have certain aspect of ways to say, oh, this person or that person is into this or that. So that's what I mean by it. It's really no true alignment, especially if we're born and somewhat naturally in a sinful manner, right? So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're not born in a marriage and you're born out of wedlock, is my life lesser than yours? Am I in a traumatic karmic life because I'm born out of wedlock? You know what I'm saying? It's hard to captivate in that form, but I think it's best to understand the meaning behind sex, and it's best to understand that sex is energy. It's best to understand that you're exchanging fluid with somebody else. So within that exchange of fluid, must you be in knowledge with yourself, like, am I acceptable to any souls or anybody, or am I gonna pick what I feel more close to in alignment with? And that's really what I wanted to galvanize with you in the differences of sacred energy exchange, to understand that, and finding a better resolution if this was a problematic a circumstance in your life, right? And with that being said, I want to again thank you for your time, your cooperation, and understanding. I would love to go ahead and finish off one poem today. It's entitled "The Wanted Man." Desired by many, but the need isn't plenty. The energy, womb, you feeling me? Intuitively, I attract her by trilogy. Mind, body, and soul, she noticed me. Quested in many directions, lost sight of home, physically been borrowed, perceived, neglecting the spirit's dome. Quickly attached to detach, how quickly we match to unmatch. There's no quitting in this game. You move to rematch. A bad habit normally makes one point the finger, but can never accept their relapse. So relax. The phallus is golden. God breed. Not many can decline the yoni, which chose him. You made me versatile, well-rounded like cursive, and cursive is my purpose. I shall never impose them. Keep me strong, life, away from the weakest of soul sexual desires. Time and lacking production. Woman who lacks ambition. Keep me, stay away, far. I'm not burning. Astray me from the fire. Drive. I own the vessel to take the responsibility of prior action, of leaving by the flesh desires of satisfaction. God's sperm is to save for godly actions. Keep me grounded to my retention and paying attention to my intention, so in apprehension I can insensate to the vision that my soul has mentioned. The Wanted Man. I am Mr.BasTiEn. I thank you for your time. This has been a beautiful episode of the MB9T podcast show. Sacred Energy Exchange was the topic of conversation for our role, purpose, and goals. To know better is to do as our mental, the clever, stay true. I love you before you knew I do. I trust you, so don't lose my trust. That's going to hurt you bad if you lose my trust. Because the truth of God is in you. So if you're not believing in me, you out of luck. Peace, prosperity, power. Mr.BasTiEn.